Who the fuck is Mike Rowe? That guy Mike Rowe, of course, is an actor who was the host of Dirty Jobs, or still does, and he did voiceover work for like Deadliest Catch and shit like that. You know, those terrible shows on, those fake-ass reality shows on TL, who gives a fuck on cable, that old people watch. This motherfucker has been on a fucking mission for the last, God, it seems like fucking 5 years, 6 years, to constantly tell working class people that they're lazy. To constantly tell working class people that they're not working hard enough or they're not working enough. He came up, of course he's in Money, did an article for Money magazine, the publication that is a capitalist dystopic nightmare. They want every person who isn't them or their families to go to work in the mines. Elon Musk already said it. Elon Musk already said you need to leave unproductive government jobs and go to more productive jobs in manufacturing and mining, because they need your labor now. They're not offering you any, I'm not going to get on that tangent. Who the fuck is Mike Rowe? Mike Rowe tells young men, he said there are 6 to 8 million able-bodied men who aren't even looking for work. And he's basing this on some loose interpretations of government, of like people that are on unemployment and people that have been polled and things like that. And they are making these outrageous claims. These rich men are telling you, working class man and woman, that you're not working enough. You need to accept shitty jobs in terrible places that sometimes you have to travel 2 hours, if you can even get there, from public transportation to do shitty jobs for minimum wage and a little bit above. The federal minimum wage is $7 and what? It's under $8, $7.25 or some shit. The state, Portland, where I live, has a $15 minimum wage, $15 plus inside the city and 14 something outside the city. And that's one of the highest minimum wages outside of California and the food service industry workers that you can make in the United States. Some places, they pay you minimum wage to go pick and pack, meaning to go drive a forklift around or walk around with a cart and grab things like Amazon or other places. And Amazon pays, depending on where you are, Amazon pays a little bit above, a little bit below, whatever market value. Same thing with UPS and FedEx and all those other companies. And these jobs, Mike Rowe wants you, not him, not his kids, you to go into the mines. So Elon Musk wants you to go into the mines. He wants you to go back into we're going to make America great again by having you take your educated job in the government, a green shade job, as they used to call them, with great benefits and retirement and people who actually care about government and want to see good government and want to see things work and want to, whatever the reason. They don't want you to do that anymore. And Mike Rowe, some actor who tells kids not to go to college, even though he went to school, even though he went to college and got a degree, but he now like every person that's rich, they tell you, I would have just better off not going to college. I would have just been better off never going. That's easy to say after you went to college. That's super easy to say 30 years after you graduated college, 20 years. Like, it's hilarious to me. But you did go to college. Yeah, but I shouldn't have. And now I'm going to tell other people not to. Why would you listen to an actor tell you anything? It's the same morons that listen to George Clooney about the Democratic National Party, the DNC. George Clooney coming out and telling, there should have been a primary in hindsight. Like, fuck George Clooney, fuck celebrities. But Mike Rowe is the worst because he has gone around the country and made millions of dollars off of doing dirty jobs. He has seen what it's like to muck out fucking oil tanks, to crawl inside of an oil tanker and muck it out, which is one of the worst and most dangerous jobs. He's seen what mining is like. He's seen what really dangerous mining and manufacturing has done. Dangerous shit, like big machines moving fast and loud. I've worked in a printing shop. I worked in a printer. They printed stuff on newspapers, coupons, etc. It was the loudest thing I'd ever. You couldn't hear yourself think in these buildings. They were so loud. You could even hear, and you'd wear earplugs the whole fucking day. And you would be like, and you'd have to go and walk into a special part of the building to even be able to talk to your boss or your fellow employees. They're shit jobs. They're garbage work. But Mike Rowe wants you to get off your lazy ass and go do these terrible jobs. He doesn't understand poverty. He doesn't understand the working classes. He doesn't understand shit. He's a conservative Republican who thinks that you're just being These are all dog whistles, by the way. That 8 million men he's talking about a lot of minorities. He's speaking about a lot of shit, people in places where they're just, you know how these people are, and it's dog whistles to conservatives. You get off of your asses and go do shitty jobs. Go make a little bit more than you are on unemployment to go do a job that's an hour away from your house and then an hour home on public transportation. So you're working an 8 to 9 hour job a day plus travel. You're gone for 11 to 12 hours a day. 10, 11, 12 hours a day. I know because I've done these jobs. I know because I know people that do these jobs. I know people who, and the idea that Mike Rowe has some kind of knowledge above, what Mike Rowe has is, it's conservative economics. It is it is Thomas Sowell, right? It's von Mises. These people are far past the point of even really understanding neoliberal policies, which they don't even mind. They have no problem with. They have no idea what jobs are available for what sort of money. None of them ever advocate for a higher minimum wage. They never say, you know what, let's just take his numbers for red. Let's just take him that he's right. He's talking about minimum wage jobs. He is not talking about good jobs that pay well. One of the most dangerous jobs in the world is working on an oil derrick. One of the most dangerous jobs, constant threat of it's hot, it's fucking dangerous, there's methane everywhere, you can explode. And they pay like $100,000 a year because of it. Because nobody wants to fucking do it. Because it's a shit job. And nobody would do it if they didn't pay the ridiculous amounts that they do pay. And they should pay that much. They should pay more. Because think about what the fossil fuel industry makes. And compared to, you're paying an oil derrick guy $100,000 a year or $80,000 a year. He should make more. And that's working class. That's as working class as you can get. And a tough job, which Mike Rowe has done on his dumb show. And he knows this, but he doesn't care about you or your back or your happiness he just wants you to be part of the production line of America to, I don't know what. What does he have to gain by, other than the cruelty of being a conservative? And he's a fucking actor on top of it. So, of course, because conservatives will tell you to shut up and dribble, like they told LeBron, like Laura Ingraham told LeBron James, when they don't like an athlete or somebody saying they don't like what they're saying. Even if it's social justice and important things, but they will have on Mike Rowe on all of their dumb shows, and they'll let Mike Rowe, because Mike Rowe speaks for the working classes. Mike Rowe isn't working class. He hasn't been working class in 20, 30 years probably. Maybe never. He seems pretty middle class to me, based on his background. And again, telling kids to not educate themselves, and instead of just skip college and go right into the mines, go start establishing your life as working in a metal recycling plant. That's really fun. Isn't it fun to have to smell like gasoline and oil all day long? Don't you want to go do hard back-breaking labor all the time? Don't you think that's fair that Elon Musk wants you and his friends and all of these conservatives want working class people to work more and work harder? And you're listening to a fucking pansy ass actor who pretends to be working class? Like, give me a fucking break. Nobody ever advocates for the working class in the media. It's always, we're never doing enough. We build this fucking country and keep it running. Not your neoliberal financing, not your billionaire class, not your fucking internet, not your tech startups, not your apps, not any of that bullshit. The working classes. We're the ones that feed and educate your fucking children. We're the ones that truck your shit across the country. We're the ones that unload it at docks at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning and 7 o'clock at night if we have to. We're the ones who pick and pack your packages and your gifts and your trinkets and baubles from all over the fucking planet. We're the ones who pick you up at the fucking airport and take you home safely. We're the ones that drive your children to school and back. We're the ones who drive the buses so you can get to work. We can keep this bullshit capitalism nightmare fucking going, this rat maze, and you want us to work more? Americans are some of the most productive people on the planet. Look it up, Mike Rowe. You cunt. You fucking cunt. God, I hate that motherfucker. And his voice is all dulcet tones. Mike Rowe, dirty jobs. Like voiceover guys. They're the fucking worst. The fucking worst. And this asshole wants you to work harder. Why doesn't he quit being an actor and living in his his millions and millions of dollars worth of homes, plural, and all of his vacations and all of his books that he writes that nobody reads and keeps going on conservative fucking networks and basically saying to the middle class, the rich people in the middle class that watch that garbage, that the working classes are lazy. That you're not even looking for work. That's not going to bode well for America. And America has it's shitty jobs. You think people want to sit home and make sometimes no money, scrounging, borrowing from other people? They live in a place where there's not even industry to go to work at. What, maybe some temp agency that you have to provide your transportation to and from, and they don't guarantee you health care, they don't guarantee you any time off, paid time off, none of that shit. You get none of it. You're lucky if you have to work on a holiday that they pay. I believe it's a federal law that certain federal holidays you have to be paid time and a half, but they will do everything they can. And I've worked for temp agencies, 3 or 4 of them while I was in school. They're not good jobs. Some places don't even let you sit. I worked in a plastic molding injection plant in 2018 in Anoka, Minnesota. And this building had been there since like the fucking 70s. And it was plastic injection molding, like CNC machines, but they would just plastic injection. Pool toys, anything plastic, chairs, things like that. It was the most boring and low-paying job because these companies know that they can hire felons, and I'm not a felon, but I was in college, so I needed something that was in the afternoons and that was part-time, and it was close to my school. I did it, and it was miserable. I got paid $11.50 an hour in 2019. It was right before 2019, before the pandemic. It was garbage money, and it was hot, and they wouldn't let you sit down. You had to stand in front of this machine to wait for this thing to pop out. I mean, completely mind-numbing. And you couldn't sit down, you couldn't have a book, you couldn't have your cell phone. And they could be really strict because they were dealing with felons. And they were dealing with people who were every person I worked with had a horrible story about drug addiction. Like, I only worked there for a few weeks. I was like, I gotta get something better than this. But my point is that those people didn't have an option. Those are the people Mike Rowe's talking about. He's talking about people who have children and families. He's talking about men and women who bust their asses every single day, and the system just doesn't give a fuck about them. The system doesn't provide health care. It doesn't provide a living wage. It doesn't provide rent assistance unless you qualify economically. It doesn't help single mothers. It doesn't help single fathers. It doesn't help anybody do anything but take from you. I'm not just talking taxes. I'm talking about the the psychology of capitalism and what it does to people. A lot of great work has been done by Richard Wolff's wife about this. She's a psychologist or psychiatrist, and she's fantastic. And she talks about the impact of capitalism on the home and how, with relationships and in society, and how it affects you past just what you're making. The toll of having to get up every single day of your life at 6 a.m. Mike Rowe has never done that for 10 years of his life, let alone 20 or 30. They want to take your retirement away as well. The government should guarantee you work for fucking 40 years of your life doing all the right things, and you have to retire on less than $2,500 a month. That's sick and evil. That's wrong. Mike Rowe is a cocksucker. Every capitalist motherfucker who wants us, the working class, to keep working harder, we're working hard. You're the one not working hard. Rich person, middle class person, get off your ass and go into the mines. Stop telling working class people who already know, who have been working hard since they were 14 fucking years old, to work harder. Cunt. Thanks for listening.